Yo guys, what's up? What's up? What's good? I'm sure you guys have missed me because I've missed you guys too. June 12th, we had that was Democracy Day, and obviously everybody was at home to see what the president. The president actually, spoke to us, and then we saw his plans, we saw what he has for us, and obviously a lot were impressed, and a lot were like, you know what, you can do this, you can do better. Regardless, different opinions about that, but then the essence of that was that it was an holiday and everybody was at home. And that was why we couldn't come out to you guys and give you guys news reports yesterday. But then we're back again today and the new day. Trust me, we have news for you guys only because we had you guys in mind. By the way, talking point is Chef Dami. Big congrats to her. She's doing like a lot, surpassing, I think she's about 100 hours plus at the moment. And it's a big shout out to her. The same energy we gave for Hilda, trust us to give you same energy on this one. It's a very big space. And then we say a massive congratulations to Chef Dami on that one. To all students of Nigeria, kudos to you guys for the president approving you guys to loan and all of that. It's amazing because some of us didn't get that privilege, but then you guys are getting that privilege now. You can get loans, pay your school fees, offset your bills, all of that, regardless. And then you pay after 2 years. But then, if you are owing, I won't call the names for other purpose, but if you are owing those guys, you cannot have access to that loan. I just have to tell you guys. Anyways, guys, welcome to Gospel News, where I give you updates concerning music and that's across the country. Today we'll begin with you know who. Davido in his Maybach Benz. Ola of Lagos was in Davido's house recently to do a review of the vehicle, and then you could see him calling like, Ola is just so spontaneous, and he plays with words a lot. Like, you could hear him saying the word like trenchiously, like you say trenchiously, trenchiously, and but then it was so beautiful to see. We saw Ola of Lagos in his usual manner coming out to review the car worth about almost half a billion naira. And I think to bring this car to record was about 100 million naira. Trust me, this guy know what to do with his money. Moving on, we saw Davido Unavailable with Musa Keys hit a new peak on the Dutch singles at number 7. Number 7 is an amazing one. And we have that part with Lawrence Spencer Smith on number 1, and we have Rema on number 2 with the song Charm. We saw Davido speaking with the native mag. As a matter of fact, we are still yet to get full update on what went down between Davido and the native mag. We can't wait to see what the exclusive conversations would look like. But then, as a pick point, we saw what Davido said. I think every artist has that point, which make whatever comeback you have always like. Okay, I think every artist has that point, which makes whatever comeback you have always sweeter. I am that type of person. I know if seek success and just be angry at it. So he's saying everybody has that point where they want to make a comeback, and then that comeback is always sweeter. And then he also went further to say, he's not someone that hates at success. So if you see someone who's successful or who's someone who's actually doing things amazingly well, Davido said he will be out there to say, congrats to you and big success to you. We saw Bill Red at the point speaking with an interview on a podcast where Bill also said, in their family, there's no competition. Everybody love each other. If David is winning, he's so happy because David is taking the flag. He's also in the train, and they all are winning together. He said David's father is a billionaire. His father was not a billionaire at the time, but then his father was not beefing on David's father. It was all love affair. And then you could see that at the inauguration, David's father was actively involved. He was there. He spoke out. He came out. David also was there, speaking out, calling people out to make sure that the mandate got to Adeleke. So the family of Adeleke, obviously, at this point, you could say they are no competition between them, and that is how they have been raised. Moving on, we saw Davido for the US Spotify viral song chart. Davido added the by Sports Aya to make him number 49. Amazing one for him on that one. We saw Davido Unavailable with Musa Keys currently chart at number 2 on this week UK Afrobeat chart, number 2. Number 1 before, but now it went down to number 2. Regardless, it's still a big win for him. And obviously, the chart is actually very, very dicey because next week you could just see that song back at number 1 again. So it's an amazing one for the team. For the Davido remains number 1 on this week Turntable Official Artist Top 100, and he has now spent 9 weeks at number 1. We saw for the Global Music Awards happening in South Africa, Davido backed 2 nominations for the Best Male and also for the best digital artist. For the best male, was in the same category with likes of Burna Boy, Omale, Ashake, Black Sheriff, Focalistic, King Promise, Rema, Diamond Platinums, Davido, and Diesel Gucci. Amazing one for him. Whoever wins this one, massive congrats to all of them because they all are amazing artists on this list. We saw for the digital artists, we have Burna Boy, Wizkid, HLE, we have Sarkodie, we have Thames, we have Diamond Platinums, we have Davido, and then we have Masaki. Whoever wins this one at the same time, massive congratulations to them. For the Timeless project surpassing 130 million streams on Spotify, massive one to Davido on that one. Davido spoke on a podcast here. About last week, we saw where he spoke, and then it kind of kept him in trouble, where he spoke about Burna Boy as a new cat and all of that. But this time, he went on the round again on this interview, and this time he spoke something positive on the interview. We saw where was asked he should pick points about 5 artists who are looking like they're going to be the next big deal. And then we saw Davido saying, he mentioned the likes of Rema. Rema was like the first, then he mentioned Aristar, and then he said Victoni. But then it was like, wait. And then it was like, he doesn't want to Jones. Like, he was very careful, like, I don't want Jones, I don't want Jones. Like, basically, it just shows the fact that the first time he learned his lessons, and this time he was more careful on the interview. And I was like, he doesn't want to Jones. Then he went back again. He said Rema, he said Ruga, he said Aristar, he said Benson, and then he said Ashake. So it shows these guys are who they would think they're the next guys to handle the M of affair concerning music. People were waiting for him to say Burna Boy so that they can bash him again. But this time he came correct and mentioned the youngins who could do all of that. At the same time, he said at the time in his career when he was quite young, his dad built him the best studio. He said, as a matter of fact, he was so particular about that. So my dad built me the best studio in Nigeria at the time, and he was quite young. And then he was not even singing; he was just learning engineering and mixing. And then he had the likes of Wizkid, The Bunch, come record song in the studio. And then it was like his friends would always tell me like, "Guy, you are better than these guys. Do a song, sing, sing, sing." And then as I went into music, but then the taking point was the fact that his dad built him the best studio in Nigeria. And then he said at the point, seeing the likes of Wizkid pushed him to become an artist. He said at the time he was seeing like the band doing the stuff. And then there was a certain young boy, Wizkid, who was also coming up, and Wizkid motivated him, and I was like, okay, if Wizkid can do it, every other person can do it. And then he went into music. So that's a very massive one for Davido. As a matter of fact, this podcast kind of looked like he went in here to correct the errors of the last time, because this time he cut people out and then he gave them their flowers respectively. So amazing one for Davido on that one. Rema is the next guy on the news. We saw Rema. It was in Portugal over the weekend, and trust me, Rema had an amazing time in Portugal. I would not talk about Ruga. I feel like Ruga they should flog Ruga, because whatever Ruga is doing is true at this moment. Ruga is in a world of his own. Wow! Like if you see Ruga's shows, yeah, that is wild. Ruga is getting wild by the day. But then back to Rema. Rema was in Portugal, and obviously it was an amazing one. People came out in numbers to make sure they attended the show from Rema. We saw for the song Charm, which had a music video on YouTube surpassing 7 million views on YouTube, and also for the song Holiday surpassing 20 million views on Spotify. And we saw Rema receiving a plaque for the song Calm Down, and that's about, you see the plaque for 4 platinum. It doesn't get better than that. Floor Platinum in Portugal, massive one for Rema on that one. While for the project Soundgazing, Soundgarden surpassing 80 million views on YouTube, massive one. At the same time, it became Rema's third video to cross that mark, 80 million views on YouTube. That is more money for him, more exposure for him, and obviously, more, he has more fans on this one. So trust me, it's a big one to Rema on this one. For the Billboard Hot 100 was announced, ought to be released Tuesday, but then it came out Monday evening. And then for last week, I kind of told you guys how it was speculated that for this week, Rema was going to hit top 3, and just like I told you guys, it happened the same way. Rema is on number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. Last night, number 1, Flowers number 2, and then Rema number 3. New song Fast Car became number 4. Rema now on 3. The big question now, it's just funny how we're like an Oliver Twist. We were never satisfied. At top 9, when it was like 9, we're like, will he make top 5? Then went to 7, it came back to like 9, it went back to 6. Then he made top 5, and I was like, will he make top 3? It went to like 5, it dropped to 6, then went to 4. Okay, yeah, that's not top 3. Will he make top 3? And then from 4, now he's on top 3. The big question now is, will he make number 1? Because obviously, last night has not moved for like a while, and obviously, Flowers has been there Now this song I quite kind of stay. Will it make flowers? I mean, will it make calm down automatically go through to number two and then number one? It depends on you guys in the US. If you want to make this happen, you guys keep streaming, and obviously Rema won't make number one and make African proud. So for the Canadian Billboard 100, Rema also picked the number one, and now for the sixth week he has been on number one, and it became the first African song to chart number one in the history of the Canada singles chart. Amazing one for Rema on that one. African Giant is the next guy on the news. Odogo himself, Burna Boy in the building. Now we saw last week was a whole roller coaster week where it was a back and forth about the cats, no cats, young cats, old cats, semi cats, middle cats. It was a cat week. Everybody were new, and it was an amazing one. Actually, we saw Burna Boy on Saturday at the UEFA Champions League final between Man City and Inter Milan, where City actually lifted the tournament for the first time in their life, and Burna Boy was there to perform for audiences who watched that one. Trust me, it was electrifying, it was energetic, it was spectacular. Everybody came correct. The outsiders, the band members, 100% came correct. Burna Boy's dad was in the building. Burna Boy also performed. For some persons, talking points were where they said Burna Boy wore similar attire to Davido's attire at the World Cup final. But then, regardless, attire should not be a conversation because the performance overshadowed everything. Davido did this at the World Cup. Burna Boy is doing it at the Champions League level. Trust me, Afrobeat is winning at all levels. And moving on, we saw backstage where after the tournament, after the whole triumph and everything, Burna Boy was seen hugging the like of Jack Grealish and obviously having pictures with Manuel Akonji. Akonji has been linked to be a Nigerian, but then he pledged his trade for Switzerland. But regardless, Burna Boy went out, snapped pictures with them, and obviously had fun at the night. We saw where he was pictured alongside Thierry Henry, and then we saw how he greeted Henry, he had to go down. It's a legendary and all of that. And then people were like, do Burna Boy watch football? Because to do all of that, shows that if you actually watched Henry, yeah, it shows you're an OG because Henry have stopped playing for like quite a while. So if you're watching him at the time, you are really a sport lover. We saw Burna Boy doing that and singing for them at the same time, singing last last for them, and obviously removing his expensive chains and putting it on Henry's neck. And then and were like, "Will you give it to him?" And I was like, "If you want it, you can have it." There are levels to this stuff. It just shows the fact that Burna Boy has money, he has resources to get more than one if he wants to. Obviously, it was an amazing bromance between Thierry Henry and Burna Boy. I saw Burna Boy actually tweeting this one where he had the cat emoji with the love smiley and everything. So Burna Boy actually made a jest of this one with the cat thingy, but then there was a love emoji on it. For Burna Boy, we all knew was going to reply. We all knew was going to talk about it, but then nobody saw it on this dimension. Burna Boy obviously we always reply to people's troll on that one. Moving on, I saw Burna Boy Love Damini album saw a huge surge on Apple Music charts after its amazing performance at the UEFA Champions League final kickoff show. And for Oman, it became number 19, 33 in Switzerland, 49 in Saudi Arabia, 62 in Netherlands, 67 in France, 72 in Kuwait, 79 in Portugal, 96 in Belgium, 97 in Switzerland, 85 in Bahrain, 146 in Canada, 150 in Ireland as a re-entry, and then 156 in New Zealand also as a re-entry. Massive one to Burna Boy on that one. For Burna Boy, sitting on top of the world, peaked at number one on Guinea-Bissau Apple Music Top Song, while sitting on top of the world, debut at 64 on Tidal Global Top Song, and also 64 on the Tidal USA Top Song. Now, there was a song that a lot of persons came like, nah, it was not nice, it was not sweet, it was this, it was that. But regardless, this song is doing numbers across the world. Massive one to Burna Boy on that one. For the UK Apple Music song, sitting on top of the world had a new peak at number 24. Massive one to him on that one. At the same time, Burna Boy sitting on top of the world, debut at number one on this week UK Afrobeat chart. Burna Boy extends his record as the artist with the most songs to hit number one in the chart history. He has about 9 songs to hit number one. Davido was number one initially, but now sent back to number 2. And then Burna Boy occupies the number 1 position as we speak. Burna Boy is set to become the first African artist to host and headline a stadium concert in the USA on July 8th, 2023. And obviously, it's going to be a very talking point because just so you know, Davido also has a show on the 8th day of July 2023. So same day, same seat, obviously in the US, both shows are in the US. different locations basically, but two big artists from Africa having two different shows on the 8th day of July. That must be a very special day. But let us see. There's going to be a lot of talking points. If someone sells out, someone doesn't sell out, a lot of those points will be talking. But then let's see what happens on the 8th day of July. We'll give you guys updates on that one when it finally unveils. Anyways, Joeboy has come out to show sympathy towards Nigerian, and obviously that's a very massive one for Joeboy. We saw where he said, I know the fuel subsidy P is hard on everyone right now. So here's my little way of helping. For the next 3 days, there will be free body and soul buses along the following route between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Enjoy the ride. Love you guys. So these are the routes. Yanowo Road, Yanowo Road to Lekki, Jakonde, Unilag Gate to Yaba Nikeja, Obalende to Oshodi. So if you are between these routes, you go into the island, there's a bus between Yanoworo and Lekki to Jakonde. And if you're around Yaba, Shomolu, um, Akoka, Bariga, those axes, there's a bus for you for Unilag Gate going to Ikeja. There's a bus for you there. And then if you're at Obalende, going to Oshodi, there's also a bus for you from Obalende to Oshodi. Joeboy is saying this will run for the next 3 days because he knows that the whole thing is hard at the moment. First subsidy is hard, and things are quite expensive. So he wants to take the burden off you from the transport, and saying it's a free bus. So if you're around those routes rather, please get yourself on those buses and enjoy the ride. Anyways, guys, we've come to the end of this one, and we can't wait to catch you guys on the very next one. Stay safe, guys, and be careful.